Good day to all of you. Welcome to ODL session. This is Managerial Economics class. You are watching week 12, lecture 2. Today's topic is break-even analysis, second part. In the last class, we have discussed about the basic concept involved in the break-even analysis like break-even point, break-even chart, safety margin and other basic concepts in the break-even analysis. In this particular session, we will elaborate the break-even analysis. So first, let's have some introductory part. In managed economics, the profit analysis is a form of cost accounting which is used as a elementary instruction and taking some short-term decisions. A profit analysis widens the use of information provided by the break-even analysis. An important part of profit analysis is the point where the total revenue and the total cost are equal. So, for any managerial decision, the very basic thing that we have to do is we have to equalize the total revenue and the total cost. At that point, we can understand no profit, no loss point. So how to do it? For that, we have to apply the break-even analysis. In the process of profit planning, it is mandatory to forecast the profit for the required future period in order to manage the hurdles in the investment analysis and what are the problems arise through labor unions and even government authorities will handle this particular break-even analysis in order to make the task smoother. The management technique which connect the cost factor, revenue factor, output factor, price factor and even sales factor, all these things together will be explained in the break-even analysis. So there are few basic concepts involved in break-even analysis like break-even point, break-even chart and safety margin. Of course, the targeted profit. First, we'll start with the break-even point. Break-even analysis has considerable significance in the economic research because the business decisions are made by the company, firm or any businessman based on the investment analysis and the public policy. So it gains its importance because it helps in decision. The break-even analysis is an important technique to trace the relationship between the cost, revenue and profit at varying levels of output or sales. In break-even analysis, the break-even point is located that level of output or sales at which the total net income or a profit is zero. At this point, the total cost is equal to total revenue. Hence, the break-even point is otherwise called no profit, no loss point or sometimes zero income point or sometimes it may be called a equal cost and revenue point. So there are many names for this. The break-even point refers to the point at which the total revenue of the firm is equal to the total cost incurred by him. In easy words, at the break-even point, TR equal to TC. What is TR? Total revenue. What is TC? Total cost. The next best concept in the break-even analysis is called safety margin. The break-even chart represents the profit position of the firm under different level of output. The safety margin is a management tool which helps the firm to avoid the loss position in terms of proportional volume. We may express in percentage to the additional output. In easy words, safety margin is the extent to which the firm can afford a decline of sales before it starts incurring loss. So, this is the best management tool which can be used in the break-even analysis while taking the decision. So, safety margin can be explained with that particular formula. Now, let's move to the next level, that is targeted profit. Safety margin in order to avoid the loss. Target profit in order to achieve some level of output. Most of the firm uses the targeted profit technique in order to achieve the expected level of profit using profit volume ratio, PV ratio we used to call. The formula to calculate the targeted sales volume is fixed cost plus targeted profit, that is expected profit, divided by contribution margin per unit. What is contribution margin? It's nothing but the difference between the selling price and the variable cost per unit. So if they ask in section A, what is targeted profit? In a break-even analysis, there should be a break-even point. In order to secure a minimum profit, we have to use a new formula called targeted sales volume equal to fixed cost plus targeted profit divided by contribution margin per unit. This formula can be applied in a business in order to gain the minimum level of profit. Now let us express this break-even quantity in mathematical term. How we can derive? We already know what is the break-even quantity. Fixed cost divided by P minus V bar, that is selling price minus variable cost per unit. So how we can derive that particular formula? Imagine at the break-even point, the cost and the revenue are equal. So total revenue equal to total cost. That is TR equal to TC. What is TR? Price into quantity, PQ. Then what is total cost? We have to add the fixed cost plus variable cost, FC plus VC. Treat this as a first equation. Here P is the price, Q is the break-even sales, FC is the fixed cost and VC is the variable cost. Now, in order to simplify the equation, we have to multiply Q in equation 1. Sorry, we have to divide Q with the equation. Then the equation will change as P equal to FC by Q plus VC by Q. Here, the variable cost per unit VC by Q. You interchange the equation. Then P minus Q equal to FC divided by Q, which is further converted into Q into P minus V bar equal to FC. What is Q? FC by P minus V bar. Here FC is a fixed cost, P is the selling price and V bar is a variable cost per unit. Let us move to the next part. What is cost to volume profit ratio? You can expect a section A question. Then you can answer like this. The object of the break-even analysis is not just to determine the break-even point. Then what is the purpose? In order to understand the financial relationship among the cost factor, revenue factor and the rate of output. In order to know the relation between these three, we need a new concept which is iterated from the break-even analysis called cost to volume profit analysis. And in our BEP figure, you can see the total revenue and total cost plotted, revenue and cost measured in the vertical axis and the sales and quantity in the horizontal axis. The slope will be at the point the TC and TR are intersecting, that is the break-even point. In our example, it is 200 or 600, whichever case may be. This diagram we plotted in the next slide. You can see the total revenue is a linear function sloping upwards. TC is FC plus VC. So at the point BEP, the total revenue equal to total cost. After OM level of output, that green part is a profit zone. Less than that, it is a loss zone. So it is easy to understand OM level of quantity will be the break-even quantity. How to explain this particular figure? I will show. There is a two curve, total revenue and total cost. So how we have to make it? In our previous numerical example, it is very clear that the break-even will be at the point where TR equal to TC, which is equal to 400. Here the quantity is 40 per the time period. Point B in the figure, we can understand the TR and TC are equal at that point. The firm incurred loss at a smaller output and earned profit at a higher output level. The cost to volume profit that analysis or a break-even chart is a flexible tool to quickly analyze or to plan accordingly the effect of changing condition of the firm. For example, an increase in the price of the quantity can be shown by increasing the slope of the TR, because P into Q is the total revenue. On the same way, it's shown in the increase in the total fixed cost and it can be shown in the increase in the vertical intercept term of the total cost curve. So, how to identify? There will be a decrease in the average variable cost or decrease in the total curve. That change we can see in the graph. So, based on that, we can take ad hoc decisions. So the break-even analysis is also performed algebraically. Where this is a diagrammatic representation, we can do algebraically. The total revenue is equal to selling price per unit times the quantity of output of the sales. That is TR equal to price into quantity. The total cost is equal to total fixed cost plus total variable cost. TFC plus TVC. Since TVC equal to average cost per unit, AVC will be quantity of output or the sales. So, what is total cost? Total fixed cost plus average variable cost, which is expressed in the quantity. Setting the total revenue equal to the total cost by substituting the Q in the break-even chart, we can get that particular value TC. Imagine at break-even point, total revenue equal to total cost. So, P into QB, which is equal to total fixed cost plus total variable cost. So, solving the equation 4, we can get the total fixed cost is nothing but the break-even quantity expressed with the fixed cost, total fixed cost divided by selling price minus average variable cost. This is in case of the multiple product firm. For example, the total fixed cost is 200 and price is fixed as 10 rupees. Here, the average variable cost is 5. Then what is the break-even quantity? It's very easy. Fixed cost divided by selling price minus variable cost. So, what is fixed cost? 200. What is selling price? 10 rupees. What is average variable cost? 5 rupees. So, 200 divided by 10 minus 5, which is equal to 40. This is the same break-even shown in the cost profit volume figure in 6. In the previous slide, I have shown that particular figure. Now, that particular thing is expressed in a PVC ratio. The denominator equation of 5, that is P minus AVC, P minus V bar we used to call. V bar is for the single product. AVC we used to call for multiple product. It is called contribution margin per unit because it represents a portion of the selling price that can be applied to cover the fixed cost by the firm to provide for the profit. By knowing these mathematical derivation, other thing, one can able to answer these questions. What is BEP? Break-even point is nothing but no profit, no loss point. At BEP, the total revenue is equal to total cost. We may say the income is equal to the expenditure incurred. So, this is what BEP is. Then what is targeted profit? Some firm, in order to attain a minimum profit, the break-even analysis using a management tool called targeted profit. What is the formula? Fixed cost plus targeted profit divided by contribution margin per unit. This is the formula. If you use this formula, he will get a minimum level of profit. Then the third one, how to calculate break-even point. There are 3 ways. One is by equalizing the total revenue and total cost, and it can be explained in terms of formula. BP equal to fixed cost divided by contribution margin. Otherwise, fixed cost divided by price minus variable cost per unit. It can be expressed in break-even chart. So these are all the methods to calculate the break-even point. And explain the concept break-even chart. Break-even chart is nothing but we are expressing the break-even point in the graph, measuring the output in the horizontal axis, cost and revenue in the vertical axis by drawing the total revenue curve and the total cost curve. A point at which the total cost intersect the total revenue, that point is a break-even point. That diagram we used to call it as break-even chart. Explain the break-even analysis with diagram. These 4, if you explain, is a section B question. You can answer better. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me, and these 2 are the resources that I am providing. If time permits, you go through this, and if you have any doubt, you can ask me. I am available in this particular email ID, and this is my contact number. Until then, I am Dr. Chandrachud, Professor in Department of Economics, School of Management Studies and Commerce, Wales Institute of Science and Technology and Advanced Studies. We will meet in the next class. Until then,